Picture two armies standing face to face on a cold English hilltop, each one knowing the other isn't here to negotiate. They're here to kill. This isn't a scene from some epic movie. This was just an ordinary day in the life of a king who ruled England for 9 months. His name was Edmund, son of King Ethelred, and honestly, no one expected him to become king at all. He was just the third son nobody bothered counting. But as you know, history loves a bad surprise. His 2 older brothers died in 1014, and suddenly Edmund became the sole legitimate heir. Let's be honest, England in this period was not some stable country you calmly take over and sip tea in Sweyn Forkbeard. The King of Denmark had invaded it months earlier. You might think an invasion is normal, and it happens all the time. It was not normal here. Sweyn died strangely fast after the invasion, almost as if history said, "Your turn is over. Ethelred, come back now." Ethelred returns to the throne, but not comfortably. Cnut, Sweyn's son, tried to continue his father's campaign, got defeated, and went back to Denmark to gather a bigger army instead of giving up. Meanwhile, Ethelred did what every king loves to do after a crisis. He punished the people who sided with the enemy. 2 brothers, Morcar and Sigefirth, ended up dead, and their estates became property of the crown. The story has a strange angle here. Ealdgith, the widow of the murdered Sigefirth, was imprisoned in a convent, and in the middle of all this chaos, Edmund noticed her. A year later, he took her from the convent and married her without his father. The king's permission picture, a prince pulling off a political marriage without his father's signature, closer to a family coup than a romantic love story. As if the marriage was not enough, Edmund did something bolder. He unofficially declared himself Earl of the East Midlands, giving himself a title. Nobody actually granted him. This was practically a soft coup against his own living father. Ethelred watched it all happen and could not stop it. August 1015. Cnut returns, and this time he is not just invading and leaving. He is about to sweep through England. I have to be honest with you here. If you imagine the Vikings just took some land and politely moved the locals out, you are a very kind and gentle person, and unfortunately, very far from the truth. These campaigns were brutal in the truest sense of the word. Entire villages were erased, communities destroyed, and historical sources document widespread atrocities against civilians during these raids. This was not territorial expansion. This was systematic destruction. Edmund joined his father to defend London, the last real stronghold of the English crown. Before you get excited about a father and son fighting side by side, seen in April 1016. Ethelred died. Edmund suddenly became king at the worst possible timing imaginable. In one of these battles, Edmund decisively halted the Danish advance, forcing Cnut to seriously consider negotiation instead of total conquest. Picture a Viking commander used to breaking everything in his path, suddenly standing before a young man nobody expected anything from, and discovering that this young man does not break so easily. Here is the one deep joke I will allow myself today. History rarely rewards courage fairly. Despite all this victory and all these battles, Edmund was still fighting a bigger army with fewer resources and less trustworthy allies. In the end, numbers defeat even the bravest men. Focus with me here for a second, because this is not just another battle like the rest. This is the Battle of Asandun, October 18th, 1016. Here, Edmund and Cnut met in a true final confrontation with no turning back. In this exact battle, Edric Striona betrayed him, the very man who was Edmund's brother-in-law, and supposedly his ally, withdrawing from the battle with his army at the worst possible moment. That betrayal alone changed the course of the battle, and with it, the fate of all of England. The result was Edmund's defeat at Asandun. Here is the exciting part, though. Even in defeat, Edmund was strong enough that Cnut could not take everything. They agreed to split England. Edmund kept Wessex, and Cnut took the rest. Even as the loser, Edmund forced respect at the negotiating table. Not every loser walks away from a battle with his head held high, but he did. History does what it always loves to do here. It surprises you with one final blow. Less than a month and a half after the division, on November 30th, 1016, Edmund suddenly died. A king who fought 5 battles in a single year and only broke once died quietly, not in battle, leaving behind 2 sons, Edward and Edmund. Edmund's sudden death meant one thing only. Cnut became the undisputed king of all England. The family that had ruled the country for centuries was exiled. History gave Edmund all the courage in the world, yet denied him the one thing he needed most: time.